Good evening, everyone. This is your instructor Ini from yesterday's class. It is nice having you all here. And Nigeria is actually, don't let me say Nigeria, but there's actually network issues. And we are working on improving that. Okay, and my fellow instructor is actually here, and he is a full stack developer and he's well versed in teaching concepts, and his name is Mr. Deji, and he's going to be joining on this session today. Okay, you all have a nice evening with Mr. Deji.
All right, good evening, everyone. I am Adedeji. I'm a full stack developer and also an upcoming app developer. And um, in this, I'm going to teach you about all you need to know about full stack web, front end web development, basically HTML and CSS. And I'm going to love you all to introduce yourself. I am Adedeji. I am a full stack web developer. I've been a code instructor for the past 3 years. So I want you people to introduce yourself also in and yeah. And if you also have questions, you can ask in the comment section. And our team are going to work well to um reply you on the comment section. We are so sorry about the technical issue. Our technical team is currently working on that. So let's ride on. Now, basically, I'm sure my team will have talked to you about what we want to build. All right. So my team member will have talked to you about what we want to build. Basically, we want to build this website at the end of our course, and we want to be able to build it very well, want to be confident about it. And during this course, we are going to learn a lot of things. We are going to learn about buttons, we are going to learn about images, we would learn about icons like this Bluetooth icon, we would learn about embedding a video into your website. We are going to learn about different icons, we would learn about form that allows you write multiple content inside your website, and also we are going to learn about simple validation. What I mean by validation is that your website is going to be your form is not going to receive anyhow information from the user. All right, so let's get started. We are going to start with HTML. Basically, HTML is used for writing content into our web page. HTML takes care of the image, it takes care of the icon, these videos and text and any other thing you see here. Now, basically, that is what HTML is all about. And we also have what we call CSS. CSS stands for cascading style sheet, and the CSS is basically used for the color. You are going to see this color over here is purple. We are going to see that this color over here and all this styling I've been giving it over here is done with the CSS. Now let's dive into HTML. For us to start writing into our HTML, we are going to need what we call an HTML building block, and that stands as a foundation for our HTML. I believe everyone have this editor on their website or on their phone. If you don't have it, you just have to go to comibyte.name.ng/editor, and you are going to be brought here. For those using a mobile phone, if this browser pops up, you just need to click on the cancel button at the top, and it's going to close it for us. All right, so let's start. HTML stands for hypertext markup language, like I've said before, and is basically used to write content into the website. For us to create a building block for our HTML, building block stands like a foundation. We are going to use what we call a HTML structure. We call it what we call snippets, and snippets are just basically HTML shortcodes that enhance our HTML development. So for us to create the building block, all you just need to do is shift then one. If you have seen that, you are going to see that you have shift then one. It's also exclamation. So you just click enter and you are going to have that. All right. Now let's write on. Now this is just a normal HTML. I know it might look a little bit strange to you guys. What is this? What is all this? No. All right. Now, this is what we call tags. What are tags? Tags are any content that are written between anchor brackets. So we call them tags. Any content written within anchor brackets is tags. Now, we also have what we call properties. What are properties? Properties are text written after our anchor bracket or after our tag, still inside the opening anchor bracket. All right, so we have two types of tag. We have the self closing tag that doesn't need a closing tag, for instance this, and we have the pair tags. Now the pair tags are tags that needs a closing tag for it to work. If you don't provide that closing tag, it is going to affect whatsoever tag you have on your website. And basically we are going to see examples of pair tags. Like this HTML, it is closed at this bottom. Like this head, it is closed at this part. Like the body, it is closed at this body. And also the title, it is closed at this title. But basically you are going to see these meta tags are just self-closing tag. That means they don't need a closing tag for them to work. They are going to work naturally. Now let's change our title. Title are just the title that shows on your website. Like they are text that shows at the top of your website. Like for instance, if I go to this website, we have a title of weigh now scale, more than just a scale, weighing scale, stuffs like that. So all those stuffs are done in the HTML and they are called used by the title. So over here I'm just going to give it a title of my first HTML class. Basically that is just the title. Now anything written inside this head, I would want us to know, I want us to put it in mind that there are things that we don't want to show on our browser. Basically if you look at it here, our browser is blank, nothing is there. So anything written inside there are things that we don't want to show on our browser. All right, now let's start with tags. The first tag we are going to learn about is the heading tag. What are the heading tag? Heading tag are used to represent the bold and important text of our website. The bold and important text of our website. For instance, this type of tags that makes our text big and bold for users to know that I think this part is important, I think this part is important. They are called the heading tag. And the heading tag ranges from 1 to 6. To create the heading tag, you are going to use the H tag and from 1 to 6. Let's start with the H1. Now inside this H1 you are going to see that automatically our code editor is closing it for us over here. All right, so it is automatically closing it for us over here. Now in between here is where you are going to write the text. In between this part you are going to write the text. Sorry, give me a minute. All right, welcome back. So let's write on. Now in between this H1 is where we are going to write our text. Whenever using an opening and closing tags, a pair tag, we are going to write all our text in between the opening and closing tag. I can write anything here. I can just write this is an header. And over here, we are going to realize that this text over here is a little bit bold. We are going to see that this text over here is a little bit bold than we expected. Now we can do the same for the remaining tags. I can come here and just create an H2. Then our H2 over here is just basically going to contain the same character. This is an header. Now if we come here, we are going to realize that This header over here is much more smaller than this header. Why? Because the higher the number in front of our h, the smaller the text is going to be. So for instance, over here, if I can change this text to h3, sorry, and I change the closing tag also to h3, we are going to realize that it is a little bit smaller. So continuously, if we do the same for the rest of them, we are going to realize that it is getting smaller the higher the number it is we are using. So if you don't understand any part of this website, of this aspect, you can ask a question in the Telegram group or in the comment section, and my team are going to try and work in answering the questions for us. Now let's move on to what we call a comment. What's a comment? Let's say for instance, over here we want to write a text, but we don't want the user to see this text. Let's say we want to stop this text from showing, or we want to stop the tag from running. How are we going to do that? So we are going to use the comment. The comment is just basically some block that is going to tell our browsers that please don't run this part, because I've covered it in the comments. To create the comment is quite simple. You're just going to use the greater than exclamation, two minus, then at the end of your tag you are just going to use two minus and dot, greater than. So less than exclamation, two minus, then what, in between it you write your text, then two minus and greater than to close it. So that's basically what we are doing over here. We are just simply creating a comment, and if you notice over here, our comment is not showing in our browser. So this is a comment. Now apart from a comment, we have what we call a paragraph. What is a paragraph? A paragraph is basically used to write some sort of paragraph inside our website. Now if you come to our website over here, we have text like this that are just showing as normal text. We have text like this that are just showing as normal text. Now I'm going to be using this curriculum to teach you. I'm going to teach you based on this website and how we are going to complete this website. We have text like this that are just a normal text, and we are going to realize that they are not as bold as the header that we realize. So all those are done with the paragraph. So in between this paragraph, I can write anything I want. This is a paragraph. Now, if we come back here to our website, we are going to see that this text is not as bold as these ones at the top, because this is a paragraph over here and they are not always bold. But let's say, for instance, we continue writing our content. Let's say I come here and copy this content, and I don't want this content to continue on the same line like this. I want to break it from this monitor. I want to break it down. What am I going to do? I'm going to use a tag called the BR. Now we are going to realize that this BR tag over here is not closing. And why is it not closing? Because we have measured it earlier. They are what we call the self closing tags, and they are just basically tags that does not close, the tags that doesn't need a closing tag for it to work. So that is why you realize that this br over here is not closing, they are just basically there. All right, so that is the br tag. Apart from the br tag, we have what we call the hr tag, and hr tag starts as the horizontal rule. They are basically a line, like a divider over our screen. So anywhere you put the hr, it is going to create a an horizontal divider. We call it the horizontal rule. So anywhere you put the hr, they are just basically going to create an horizontal divider on our website. All right, so that is the hr. The next part we are going to talk about formatting tags. Now what are formatting tags? Formatting tags are tags that are basically used to format our website. They are basically used to format our text. Formatting tags, now they are just used to format our text. Like, what, how do you want this text to show? Do you want it to be italic? Do you want it to be bold? Do you want this to be this? So those are basically what formatting tags are used for, and I'm going to teach you about little formatting tags in this video. So we have a formatting tag called the bold, and the bold formatting tag is basically used to make our text bold. For me to make it bold, let's say for instance I want from this part to this part to be bold on my website, I'm going to use the bold formatting tag. For me to use the bold formatting tag, I'm going to use the B tag. Then wherever I want to end it, I'm going to what? Close the B tag. If we check over here, we are going to realize that this part is much more bold than this part. So the bold formatting tag is just basically used to make our text bold. Now we have another formatting tag that we call the italic, and the italic is just basically used to make our text italic. Now for instance, if I want from this your baby's growth to be italic, I'm just going to wrap it in the I tag. My bad. So I'm just going to wrap it in the I tag, and wherever I want to end it, I'm just going to stop the I tag. Now if we were to check over here, we are going to see that this your baby's growth is much more italic than the normal text actually. So that's just basically what this italic works for. The italic is going to make your text much more italic. Now we have another formatting tag, we call it the underline, and from the word underline you are going to know that it is just basically used to underline our text. If you come here, you are going to see that this text I wrap with the U tag is being underlined. All right, so we have another formatting tag that we call the S, the stroke through. Now basically the stroke through is used to create like a cancel button or a cancelled text on our website, and we have something like this called the stroke through. They are just used to create a cancelled text on our website. All right, so pretty much these are the formatting tags we are going to need to build this website, but I'm going to talk about more formatting tags. Now we have a formatting tag called small, and basically the small is just going to make our text a little bit much more smaller than the rest of the text. So the small basically makes our text much more smaller. Now the last tag we are going to talk about is the span. Now I know we have not gotten to CSS yet, but we have what we call span, and basically span does nothing actually. The span does not do anything, but the span is here in order for us to be able to give it a special styling that is not going to affect the rest of the tag. Now if you come here, we are going to see all these are H1, but this part over here is a purple color. So the reason why we are able to style this part separately is because we used the span, and the span we are going to style it in our CSS. Don't worry, when you get to CSS you are going to understand everything about it. All right, now let's move on to images. All right, now to use images in our website is very easy. Now remember, let's say you are fond of writing shortcuts for your WhatsApp message. If you just want to create, say that give me the image, you can just say something like give me the img or something like this. So that's just basically what we use in HTML. Yeah, some people are fond of shortcuts. Instead of saying I don't care, just say IDC or something like that. So annoying, but let's continue though. All right, now to create the img tag is quite simple. All you just need to do is the img. So the img is used to call the image tag. Now the img comes with pretty much attributes. It comes with the src and it comes with the alternative. You are going to realize on your WhatsApp you send images. How is the user viewing the image? I don't know. I'm just sending images. Bah, how's user viewing the image on my Facebook? I don't know. I'm just sending images. So this is the tag that is responsible for showing images. No matter how, no matter where, this is the tag. It is called the IMG tag. Now, basically, if you have a computer, an image on your computer, all you just need to do is come here and put the name of the image of your computer. So basically, I have no image on my computer, so I'm just going to come here and search for any image of my choice. I can just say image of a programmer. Now if we are to search here, we can look for any image. I'm just going to come to the img tag. Okay, the images tab, or let's just open any of these parts over here to look for any image of my choice. All right, now if you have any of these images, all we just need to do is copy the link to this image and it is going to show on our website. How are we going to copy it? We are going to right click over here and we are going to copy the link address. So over here, I've copied the link address. All I'm just going to do is come into my SRC inside my image and paste whatsoever link address we have. Now, basically, images are not showing over here, but the images are supposed to show. So let's look for another form of image over here. Okay, let's look for Pinterest. All right, sorry, give me some minutes over here. We have this. So I'm just going to open this images tab and all right. All right, so welcome back. So I found and I solved. Now let's say I want to use this image over here. All I'm just going to do is right click over here and copy the image address. So you can copy any image address, you can copy pretty much any image address. So I'm just going to come here into my browser or into my code editor and I'm going to paste the link. If we come over here, we are going to see the image on our website. So this is basically how to put an image on our website. Just need to use the img tag. If you have the image on your laptop, you are just going to use the path to the image slash the name of the image. Let's say for instance my image is inside the images and the name of my image is my image.png. So if I want to use image from my PC, I'm just going to have something like this. But basically we are using the online image, so we just have something like this. Now what is the alt stands as an alternative text. Alternative text are basically used to write the description of our image. You can just say image of an ant writing code or whatsoever you want to write. Now you are not going to see this alternative text here. How are you going to see the alternative text? You are going to see it only if the image could not be found. Now if I create a typo here in my image. Let's say I remove some text, we are going to see this alternative text that is trying to tell us that there is an image here, but it is nowhere to be found actually. So that is just basically, but it's just going to describe what type of image inside that image. So that is just basically what the alternative text does. And the last one we're going to talk about in under image is what we call the width. The width is just used to reduce the size of our image. Now you can use from 1 to any number you want. I want my image to just be 200, and it's just going to reduce my image. If you want your image to be extra large, you are going to see how big our image is. So basically, the width is used to reduce the size of our image. Now let's move on to the next part. Let's talk about buttons. Now, what are buttons? Buttons are just used to create clickable elements on our website. To create a button, you are just going to use the button tag. And over here, we have this button. Now, it's just used to create a clickable element. If I are to scroll down here, we are going to see this element that allows us to be able to click over here. So basically, that is what these are all about. They are just buttons that are clickable. They are just buttons that are clickable. Is helping us to be able to click something. If you come here, we have what buttons that are clickable. Now let's move on. If you don't understand or have any questions, you can drop your questions on the Telegram group or on the comment section, and my team are going to work on replying all the questions accordingly. So if you don't have any question, we are good to go. All right. Okay. Now let's move on. We have what we call a link. And what are links for? Links are used to take us from one place to another, from one page to another, from one section to another. If I come here to my website, if you click on any part of this website, we are going to see that it's taking us to different parts of our website. If you click on other now, you see it scrolls down to different parts of our website. So also these are working the same way. And also if you come here, we can also just click on our phone number or click on our support team over here, and we can also create some link at the bottom. So basically the links are used for taking us from one place to another. They are basically used to take us from one section to another, or one page to another. Now to create a link is quite simple. All you just need to do is use the a tag. Now the a tag, if we just write anything inside this our a tag, is not going to take us anywhere. If we just come here and just write anything inside our a tag, it's just going to be as a normal text. So for this a tag, for us to tell it where it's going to take us to, are you taking us to another page, or are you putting us here? We are going to use what we call the href. Now the href basically is just trying to tell us where do you want this a tag to take us to. Let's say for instance you want it to take us to google.com. I can just say I want it to take us to google.com. If I open this on the browser and click on this, we are going to see that it can take us to google.com. So whenever you are using the a tag over here, it is much more preferable to write the full part to our website, or where you want them to take us to. So that way it is going to take us to that website. So you realize that when I clicked on that, it took me to what, to this google.com. So basically that is what a link is all about. Now let's say for instance you want this link to be able to take you to another page of your website. Let's say you have a new html, I want it to take you to that new html. All you just need to do is what, create an a tag. Let's just say home. Then inside this our href, we're just going to write the name of our html tag. Now if we add an html home.html, we are going to have it, we are going to be able to click and it's going to take us. But currently, because we don't have an home.html, we just have something like this. All right, so that is just it. And the last one we're going to talk about under a tag is links that takes us to different section. Now let's say we have section here, and our section, maybe it has an id of home here or whatever we want. We can just basically create an a tag that is going to take us to this section over here. And how are we going to create it? Inside our a tag, we can just come here, and inside the href over here, we are just going to use what we call the id of our section. So I want you to take me to an id. To write an id, you start with an hash, then we are going to write the name of the id. Now whenever I click on this home here, it scrolls down, just like this behavior we are having over here, that scrolls down whenever we click on any part of our website. Now let's move on to embedding a YouTube video into our website. Now to embed a YouTube video is quite simple. All you just need to use what iframe. So over here, I can just open a YouTube. Over here, I can just say I want to open youtube.com and I want to search for any video of my choice. So over here, our YouTube is loading, and while it loads, let me explain what this is all about. We have what we call iframe, and basically iframe is used to embed another person's document into your own document. So that's basically what this, you want to embed a map into your website, you are going to use iframe. You want to embed another person's website into your website, you are going to use what iframe. So for now, we want to embed a YouTube video into our website, we are going to use iframe. So over here, I can just search for any video of my choice. Now currently, I can choose any of this video of my choice. I can choose to what, take any of this video. For now, let me just choose this video that says blah blah blah. So for me to be able to embed this video, I will need to play the video first. Then after that, I will just need to come here, right click on this video, and what, copy embed code. If you are using a small phone, you are going to click on share and copy embed code or whatsoever. Yeah, I think it should be share and copy embed code. All right, now if we come back here to our website, all we just need to do is paste whatsoever we copied. We can just paste it over here. So I'm just going to paste it, and if we come here, we are going to see a large video that what is about to play for us. So what are we going to do? We can reduce the width and height of our video. I can say I want the width to be 200 and I want the height to be 300. Now if we come here, we have this video. It is loading, it is taking time to load, but it is eventually going to load. So that is how to create an iframe, and that is how we embedded this iframe YouTube video into our website. If you come here and we play it, we are going to realize that this is going to play exactly the same way as YouTube always play their video. So that's just basically what that iframe is all about. To the next part. Next part we are going to talk about is the icons. Basically, the icons are just short icons. Some people call it emoji, but as a web developer, we call it icon. We're going to see icons like this, icons like this, icons like this. So all these are icons, display button and whatsoever. And we have lots of icon libraries. All right, we have lots of icon libraries, but the icon library we are going to use here is what we call font awesome icon. Now for us to use the font awesome icon, all we just need to do is what? We are going to search over here and see font awesome icons. Now we have two methods of using the font awesome icons. We have the online method, which is the CDN method, and the offline method. Now for now we are going to use the online method. So I want you to just come here, and instead of just saying font awesome icons, we're just going to say font awesome icons CDN. Now CDN stands for content delivery network, and it's just used to deliver some content. Now if you have some Brave browsers, you are going to see it here, but if you don't have some Brave browsers, just come here to this cdngs.com and click on it, and basically they are just going to give us the CDN that we are going to use for our font awesome. So all you just need to do is click on this middle text here that says copy link tag, and come back here to your website over here. At the head of your document, you are just going to paste whatsoever you copied. Right click, then what? Paste, and it's going to paste this. Now that we have linked our font awesome, we can use any font awesome of our choice. Now how are we going to know which font awesome is for which is for which? We can just simply come here and search for our font awesome. You can just say font awesome icons, and if we click on this, we are going to open this. So over here you are just going to say free icon font awesome. If you want to subscribe to pro icons, you can simply do that. For this video, we are going to be using the free icons over here. Now basically we can use any icon. For instance, we can use an icon, like for the I tag by just saying class, then font or some I or whatever we want to use, and we are going to see something like this. So basically that is what this font awesome is all about. Let's wait for it to load, and while our font awesome is loading, if you have any questions, ask it in the comment section, and my team is going to do well to answer any of your question. And also, if you have not followed this website, is going to help us also. Please click on that follow button and follow our YouTube channel. Now over here we are going to see we have pretty much icons that we can use, but some icons are pro and some icons are pro plus, but the ones that are free also exist. Now let's say for instance I want an icon for display over here. What am I going to do? I'm just going to come here to this search and say I want an icon for play, and that is going to search for any play we have over here. So I think this is an example. We can scroll down and look for more if we want. So these ones are pro. Okay, let's just click on free over here. So it's going to search for the free ones for us. So we have these free ones that we can use. We have these free play buttons and any other thing we want. So if you also want other icons, like for instance icons for Bluetooth, you are just going to come here to the website and search for it, Bluetooth, and that's going to search for the Bluetooth icon for us. Now if you have find the Bluetooth or any icon you want, all you just need to do is click on that icon over here, and it is going to bring us a pop-up. All you just need to do is click on this icon, like just click on this text over here, and you are going to see copied. Come back to your website over here and just paste it. Right click and paste, or just click on Ctrl V. Now if you come here, we are going to see our Bluetooth icon at the bottom before our iframe. So I'm just basically going to comment this iframe for now. All right, so I'm just commenting this over here, and if you come here, we are going to have Bluetooth and the eye icon I gave it before. So any icon you want, you can just come here and search for it. There are pretty much icons for the brands like Facebook and any other icons, free icons actually. So if you feel that the free icons are not enough for you, you can just go on and use the pro icons. But for now, we are going to use the free icon. You can search for this type of icon. For instance, you can just say maybe you are looking for an award icon or whatsoever, and we have all these award icons. Basically, we also have this stars icon. All right, so if you click on more results, it's going to bring more results for us, all the results concerning that icon over here. That's what it's going to bring. All right, so basically that is all about icon on in HTML. Now the last part we are going to talk about is the form. And what are form used for? Form are used to accept data from users. Form are just used to collect information from user. For instance, over here on our website, if I we were asked to put our name, we can just put any name over here. My name, then what's my mail, and whatsoever stuff we want over here. So basically, these are just forms used to receive information from a user. Now to create a form is quite simple. All you just need to do is what, use the form tag. Form tag comes with some random properties. We have properties like action, and we have properties like method. Now action is just going to require us to tell where we want to submit our form to. If I want to submit our form to another page, maybe the dashboard page, I can just put it over here that I want to submit my website to the dashboard page, or if I want to submit it to my email. But basically, this is not how we do it. We can just create our email dot something, or we use the backend. But most of the time, the backend is what takes care of this action over here. Now, the method is just trying to tell us what type of data, how do you want to submit your data. If you submit some data on some websites, your data will be stored here on the URL. So those type of data are called the get method, and they are just basically trying to tell us that we want to store the data on the URL and we want to get it back. Like for instance, this is a type of a get request that is going to give us something like a question mark, then whatsoever we search for. So all those stuffs are just what the get request. We also have what we call the post request, and the post request is just the secure way of putting our users information. Now if you go to some website to log in, you are not going to see your information online like this. Instead, it's just going to securely submit your website. Now, for us to be able to ask informations from our users like this, we have what we call input. Our input are just used to ask a user for what they want to input. To create the input, we are just going to say input. Over here, if you come here, we are going to see something that is going to ask us to write whatever we want to write. Now, inputs have different types, and one of the types we are going to talk about is the text. Now the text, the input type of text is just going to tell us that I just want you to write text, nothing much more. We also have what we call placeholders. What are placeholder? Placeholder are just example text that are written inside our input. So this one does not have placeholders, but it is very good for us to know what placeholders are. Placeholder are just example text that are written inside our input. Now these are placeholders. If I start writing, the placeholder goes away. So I'm coming, let me just create a br tag, sorry, so I'll be able to scroll down. All right, so I'll be able to scroll down. All right, now this input over here, I can write anything I want, and you realize that this placeholder is not showing anymore immediately I start writing. We also have what we call value. What are value? Value are text that are going to show as if someone have written. They are just text written inside your input. For me to edit the value, I'll need to clear whatever is there and write my own. So people preferably use the placeholder instead of the value. So we have this. Now we have what we call label. What are label? Label are just text that are going to tell us what we are meant to write inside our input. We have labels, we have examples of labels here, like this label over here, full name, like this label over here, email, and any other label that we can see. So to create a label, we are just going to say label over here. Then we can just write anything we want. Now it is more preferable for our label to have a for over here. There's a tag called the for, and it is more preferable for our input to have an id. Now whatever id I write inside this my input over here is the same id I'm going to write inside my for over here. So it is not important, it's not mandatory, but it is just advisable, it is necessary for us to do something like this so that our label will be connected to its own input. All right, so if you want to break it, you can just come here and use the br tag, and we are going to see that this full name is there and this is under it. So basically this is it. We have other types of input, like for instance, you are going to come here, you are going to see that this input is for an email address, and immediately I click on it, it brings an email address for me. So for me to do something like that, we have an input with the type of email, and that basically is just going to allow us to write just email addresses. If I come here and just write some random text, like let's say me, and I also write me over here, we click on submit, we are going to see it's going to tell us that please include the art is required in whatever it's there. So that is because we set the input type to be an email address. Now we also have an input type with the type of tell. All right, I'm so sorry. Okay, so we have the input with the type of submit that is going to tell us to be able to submit our form, and we have the required that is going to tell us that it is a must for you to fill this part before you submit the form. Now we also have what we call text area. Text area allows us to write any number of text, just like you are messaging on maybe a WhatsApp channel and you are just writing some text, so you can see something like a text area. That is what they use for such stuff. Now, if I was to write this same stuff inside my input, it is not going to break. Instead, it is just going to be on a straight line. So basically, this text area allows us to do such. We can increase the row of our text area, and we can also increase the column of our text area. Now, what does the row and column do? The row and column is just basically used to increase how long and how wide our input is. So the row is the height, while the column is the width over here, as we can see. So we also have what we call the select. What does the select do? The select allows us to choose from different options on our website. All right. If you go to some website, they'll say choose your state, then you have a drop down for you to choose your state. So over here, I can just create a select, and my select are going to have what we call options. Now I want an option of 1, I want an option of 2, I want an option of 3, I want 4. Now if I come back here to my website, if I click on this, we are going to see a select field that allows us to choose 1, 2, 3, 4, and any other number that we want. Now, this submit input can be replaced with the button, but basically our button is not going to have the type of button. Instead, it is going to have the type of submit. And if we come here, we are going to see that both of them are working the same way. So in case if you want to put an icon into your submit button, you are not going to use this submit input. Instead, you are going to use this submit button over here. Now, we are going to talk about semantic tag as the last topic on our website on today's live. So semantic tags. And what are semantic tags? Semantic tags are just like container for covering some sections of our website. Now, there's a semantic tag called the header. And what does that mean? The header is used to represent anything in this head of our website. Anything in this head of our website, it is represented with the header. It does not have any special styling, but it is just used to tell us that this part is the head of our document. So that's just basically what the header does. It's just trying to tell us that this part is the head of our document. So any user that is seeing it will see it and at the head of our document. Now there's what we call nav. What does the nav do? The nav is just used to collect some um they are just used to collect some link. They are just combination of link, collections of links. That's what the navs is for. Now over here inside my header we have a nav, and the nav is just basically collections of all these links that takes me to different parts of our website. I believe we have talked about links, and yeah, these are what navs are used for. They are used for what? Collection of links that navigate us through websites. So it is also called the navigation bar. All right. Now the next semantic tag we are going to talk about is the div. What does the div do? The div just stands as just a container. If you come here, for instance, this all this text in this part can be in a div. This image over here can be in a div. This all this text over here can be in a div. They are just like a container to group some stuffs together. They are just used to group things that are related to each other. They are just used to group it together. So that's just what basically the the div is. We also have what we call the section, and the section I just used to specify different aspects of the website. For instance, all these parts, both this first div and this second div, they are in a section, and we call this part the hero section. These parts that are always at the top of our website. If you scroll down, all these things over here are also in another section. That means they are just used to group all the things that are related to each other. That is what they are used to group. If you come down here, all these things at this part are under a section. If I also come down here, all these are under a section. If I come down here, all these are under a section. So basically they are just used to group some stuff um together, some stuff with related values together. And div I just used to group some items together, not all of them. Now you might decide to use div or section, but it is more preferable to just use section, and it is a little bit advisable to use section to cover all different aspects. Then each of the aspects can now be covered in a div. Don't worry, when we are building a live project we are going to see the usage. Now the last part we talk about is the footer, and basically the footer just stands as the foot of our website, and it always has different color from the actual body on most websites. Like for instance, if you look at these people's footer, it has a different stuff. And if you look at this people's footer, I think we have lots of stuff here. If you look at their footer, they also have what, something like this as their footer. So basically the footer is just used to represent the foot of our website, and it always contains things like copyright, it always contains things like who built the website, it always contains your information and any other link that are related. All right, so basically this is all we are going to talk about today, and in the next class we are going to move to CSS. So the CSS basically are used to style our website, the color, the width, the height, the styling, how this image scales up whenever we put our mouse on it, how this image how this video could fit in our website, the colorful button, because remember a button HTML over here, the button is just a button. We're not doing anything, it's just clickable over here, and the link comes with a special underline. So basically all these are just what we are going to use our CSS for. So that's going to be all for today. If you enjoy today's class, please leave a comment down below. That is going to help us boost our website and also boost our YouTube video. And also please subscribe to this channel. We offer related courses like this, we offer useful courses like this, and even after becoming that web developer that you want to become, we are going to also offer short videos on how to create specific types of websites or specific special features on a website. So basically that is just all you have to do. Now if you have any question, you can ask on the comment section, or you can also ask in the Telegram group. That's going to be all for today. I'm going to see you in the next class.